And welcome everyone to game number 4 between Stefanovich and Uncia here in the MSL Code A Winners Bracket Finals. This is, of course, for those of you that know Starcraft, this map is, this is not Tall Dream Altar, this is Whirlwind. It's kind of the Heart of the Swarm equivalent, a spiritual successor in my mind, as it's a very large 8-player map. Or actually, this is a 4-player map. It just looks like an 8-player because it's got all of the different expansions floating around about. But more or less importantly, it's a jungle tile set and it's freaking gigantic.
Truth.
Commentating here with me tonight is Nibbling. Is one of my good friends. He's going to help me out. He's been casting with me a little bit here, and hopefully we'll be able to do more, including the MSL. Season 2, which should be coming up shortly. So we're pretty excited about that.
Should be a party.
Yeah, and so getting into the game a little bit, we have, of course, Uncia, the pink Zerg up here in the top left-hand corner of Whirlwind. And in the opposite corner, or rather the top right, we have the orange Protoss player, Stefanovich. Just want to point out something earlier in the last, or in this session, and when I say that, I actually mean the end of the last game, it sounded, there's quite a bit of noise over Nibbling's environment. He's casting from the inside of a Terran starport, and I actually asked him if there was a bandsaw going on over there. We joked in between games, and it turns out there was a table saw. So I have the auditory prowess of a machine. I don't even know what that means.
I was wondering where you were going with that.
Yeah,
I mean,
I got nothing.
I thought auditory prowess and went, huh, like the source is empty.
Yeah, turns out there's the search results return nothing. I'm just talking, it turns out I'm hungry. And sometimes just words come out of my mouth, but that's no big deal. So, Whirlwind, it's a pretty important thing to note. This map is quite large. It's actually pretty easy to defend your natural, though, as that choke's pretty small. It's just, how the heck do you take a third and hold it? That's the problem that you generally have.
It's true. I would normally say with Bronze Leaguers that you'd see ninja expansions all over the place, and it would totally work. But these two players, I'm expecting way more skill. Now, with the scouting, unfortunately, it's a bit of a gamble. And the Zerg player rolled a 1, and our Protoss player rolled a 6. Getting his probe straight into the base first time, and this poor Overlord still just like, not this corner. Yeah.
That's what it said. Also, really cool design on the minimap of Scouted Area. I really like that.
Ooh, Ninja Star.
Yeah, it is. So, one thing really important is that this is a 4-gate. I don't know if you noticed this, but this is totally a 4-gate. The problem with this 4-gate is it doesn't have enough gas. Okay, there goes another one, but this gas is actually a little late. You need to start that earlier, and generally you throw down the gateways a little bit later, so then you can afford that earlier gas.
Right, so one of the gateways isn't just chilling.
Yeah, so these are all going to be hanging out here, because you can't really utilize them until this happens. The proxy pylon is relatively close by air, but not too close by land, and it looks like he has indeed seen that. He has seen all 4 gates because he had the late scout. He was able to scout that. And I think he's actually going to be completely fine.
Nice.
So this might go very poorly for Stefanovich. The 4-gate is a very powerful attack. For those that don't know it, it was really, really popular for a long time. It was killing everyone. They made a few patches to the game to make it a little bit more difficult to defend, or to execute, and a little bit more easy to defend. And now you don't see him as much, because if you scout it, it's pretty easy to stomp on it, as you see here. However, you usually just don't see him anymore because of the ease that can happen. There is that other probe trying to make its way out. It's got to throw down a proxy pylon, but as it is right now, I don't think one's going to be able to go down.
No, I would agree, because this isn't one where you can like, oh, well, location it. When I was picking, there's a definite path you want to take. It's there and never, really, I mean, because otherwise you're out in the open.
So one thing that Stefanovich does have going for him is the fact that there's no Zergling speed yet. The other thing is that... So I mentioned this in one of the other games, is that even if you don't attack. You just look like you're going to attack. You've already damaged most Zerg players. Oh yeah, there's no way this is going to work out. He should be able to retreat. He does have that forward pylon now. But looking at the worker count is even. Whereas usually it would be substantially different, but because Unica scouted the 4-gate, he sacrificed tons of drones and now has almost no economy. Ooh, and he's actually going to walk all the way out there with the queens. And there's really not going to be anything that he's going to be able to do to defend that. Yeah. So
I don't think that proxy plan's working out so well.
No, Unica's doing a very good job continuing to scout for those and take them out. He's going to continue moving those spine crawlers forward. Now they're going to have to find their way up that choke. That's going to be very difficult. He needs to lead with the zealots here. And really, I think at this point he should transfer out of this, as he's done the damage economically. They're even economically, actually.
It's true, but I'm not. So, I mean, 4-gate's nice and all, but after he's destroyed 2 proxies, I kind of like to see an expansion. I mean, we're almost to 9 minutes. He's playing off 1 base.
Yeah, no, that's exactly what I was saying. I think that is his intention. He's now back up to 24 workers. Is actually higher than his opponent. And
third time
I think he's
was
just
not
going to
the
be.
charm.
Yeah, no, it was not. Try again. Although I think at this point it's better to just erase all memory that you tried.
Yeah.
And you know you can't blame him. There is a late scout from his opponent. His 4-gate wasn't actually. I mean, given it wasn't done perfectly well, it wasn't executed. I don't believe this is a build that he's practiced to a large extent, but that's fine. He knew the overall structure, and it didn't hit that much later. It was just the fact that the scouting overlord actually saw that, and he was able to prepare that really ended up doing that. So the scouting overlord was looking for that because the drone had already seen the 4 gates.
Man, he threw down the 4th, and it was good, and it was 2 seconds later those roaches found that. I'm super impressed with Zerg map control here. This is a good token for good play.
And so one thing here, so we were talking about you want to stop the aggression and expand. Stefanovich had enough money to expand earlier, but he did not. And he should have expanded while he was threatening that front base. Because now all the units that Unica built to defend are now attacking. And that base is not up and running. There is no wall, there are no cannons, and this could very well be the end of this game. So we got a good number of roaches coming in here. We do have some sentries. He's going to retreat all the way back in. He's now going to be forced inside of his own natural, or inside of his own main. He had to cancel that expansion.
But he got it. I mean,
he did.
Good.
So I really want to see a force field cut half of him. There you go.
Oh, good.
He's losing some sentries. Whew. Never mind. He almost lost this sentry. And that was actually really important to section those off, whereas if you'd sent the force field down at the very bottom, he would not have been in nearly as good of a position as he is right now. Although I wouldn't call this particularly a great position.
Yeah, not with those force fields. Well, he got a little complacent there.
Yeah, well, yeah, he pushed them there, trying to make sure those ones couldn't run away. It did keep the other ones from attacking and expanding. And so that worked out pretty well. I feel like Unica could have actually ended the game right there. I think instead he's been macroing. Looking at the worker count, he is in fact ahead. He has started most of his tech though. He's just at a much lower place economically. And
but yeah, and he's pushed Stefanovich to 1 base. I mean, why not take the 3rd like he's done? He knows he's not going to be coming back out anytime soon.
There is one small problem. He did, Stefanovich went for the Anytime Dark Shrine. So we're going to see if Unica is going to be able to know that this is coming.
This has worked well for him before.
This is how he took game 1, was with Dark Templar. So, see how this works. And Ninja Expand!
Woo!
Gotta love the Ninja Expand. Macro Hatch going down, and another hatch, or another spine crawler or 2, knowing that the only way he can lose at this point is if some crazy attack happens. I think he's going to notice.
The overseer. Ouch.
Yep.
Yeah, that's unfortunate.
Knowing that that's something that he could lose to and that he had lost to previously. Good job sending both of these all over the place. I don't think there's going to be enough DPS. I'd rather see both of these run around and continuing to be super annoying.
Agreed. But yeah, not enough hit points.
Yeah, turns out they're Jedi that are invisible. but they only wear robes. They don't have really big armor.
Armor.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They have acid
the
saliva.
Observer.
That's what it says. Acid saliva.
Interesting.
Nasty.
Oh, the poor Observer. See, I wish we had seen the Observer with the DTs, because then we could at least, if nothing else, we could push back the creep.
No, that's exactly true. That would have been really useful. So at this point, the worker count lead. Look at the worker count. Unica is now ahead by 23.
Double.
Yeah, that's a huge difference. He doesn't have his natural. He does have a ninja expansion. However, the ninja is safe at this point, as there's nothing anywhere near that. There is some potential that these mutas that came out, because remember, Stefanovich, or Unica, threw down basically all of his tech at the same time, but he didn't have the economy. So that's why you see the smaller unit count, because he built the tech buildings before he had the economy. But now you're starting to see them come out as the economy is there now. It's just really going to be interesting. The mutas could conceivably swing by that far down. There's also this other overlord down here in the bottom left-hand corner. But I feel like the likelihood is generally the mutas will come down towards where the fourth base of Stefanovich would be, and then they'd swing their way into the natural. So, ooh, War Prism harass. It's Stefanovich is really trying to find a way to get his way back into the game. Ooh.
Oh, 3 DTs in the mineral line will do it.
Yeah, but he doesn't need to focus down the queen, so he's now revealed that he is there. He's going to try to focus down.
And went for the Spire?
Yeah, interesting choices. I think he might get it.
Oh, and an infused on the Spire.
Yeah.
Congrats to Unica.
It wouldn't have gone down either way, but good job. I always love seeing transfuse. It's 125 health that it gets restored. Love that. Oh, and gonna lose the War Prism too. He didn't remember to take that back. So I think actually what's kind of happened is that Stefanovich is feeling really stressed, and he's getting a little bit
punchy.
Yeah.
Where you just start trying different strategies. Like, okay, well, I've heard this one. You can tell when they're trying things that they aren't well.
Exactly. They're trying to do something that they're not as well practiced at. So he's just looking a little bit frazzled, actually, from the way that things gone. It looks really frustrated.
Oh. Yeah.
Planetary Nexus is going to drive it back.
My man.
Yeah. Good job, the Planetary Nexus. That's a good choice. I'm really surprised he hasn't taken this expansion out here. I'm also surprised that Unica has not taken another expansion as well, given the bank that he has.
Oh, for real. And he's got to feel safe. I mean, he keeps swatting down attacks. I would be.
Yeah.
Of course, maybe that's just enough, you know? The fear of those little pokes is what's keeping him in.
You know, that's actually something, good job there to Stefanovich. He's trying to think outside the box, trying to figure out what in the world can I do to get back in the game. Dark Templar, that's like the #1 thing that Protoss players do to get back in the game. Another thing...
And it works.
It does. It didn't end up being executed quite as well, and it was a little bit unlucky that, you know, Unica had in fact thought ahead to saying, you know, wait a minute, I lost to this before. I'm going to worry about this because I think I've got the game in the bag. And so he's been preparing for all those things that he thinks might be a problem for him.
Ooh, Ling muted.
Yeah, with just a little bit of Roach mixed in. This is actually a pretty big number of mutas on the map. What is that? 22. We definitely have a murder of mutas. Perhaps it's a gaggle. Not entirely sure.
I'm going with murder.
I think it's just a little bit cooler. Ooh, running down the ramp at the wrong time.
Yeah.
So Unica, he's just going to throw down that force field. Doesn't want anything getting up in his grill.
And Unica brought the 3 detectors with him, so no DT harm.
And really important thing right here, Unica knows that this other base is here, and now the gig is up. Excellent job. Knowing that army was a little bit too large, trying to figure out what in the world is going on, he started sending out Zerglings to almost every single map, or expansion on the map, and sees this expansion. Unica must know that this is the only thing keeping alive. Stefanovich, on the other hand, I'm sure knows that this base is gone, but there's nothing he can do to go defend it. We do see a lot of Archons. He's just so starved.
Oh, perfect. Yeah, perfect on the drones there. Did you see the move in then hold position?
I did not. I was busy.
He got all those drones. Or, excuse me, probes.
Okay, we do have an expansion, or the attack here. Stefanovich is trying to
Time
push
was good.
back. Without the lings on the ground, it's actually quite a bit harder to defend. There are a few Archons here. Archons melt Zerg units like butter on hot,
Truth.
warm, wonderful toast.
That sounds way tastier than a dead Zerg anything.
It does. Even if it was
Same.
roasted dead Zerg anything.
You know, they bring that up in the campaign. I'm not quite sure what the appeal is.
I don't really think there is. So it looks like here Stefanovich is trying to go with an all-in attack. He throws down the Time Warp. He should throw down some of those Guardian shields. The Archons go down almost immediately though, and now I don't think there's really going to be very much that Stefanovich can do. Unica, excellent set of games. He's going to be advancing into the grand finals here, which I'm really excited about. And I think it was actually a very close set of matches. And I think, generally speaking, Stefanovich was trying to do a little bit more tricky things, whereas Unica was favoring a little bit more the cautious, slow, steady progress. And he did fall the very first game, or the very first match, to some creative Dark Templar play. And then I feel like Unica really was able to adjust. And then, he was totally prepared for it here. And he was able to, just adjust to that playstyle of his opponent. And was able to take each one of these other games into the more the late game situation that he really excels in. And that's really what I feel like won him this game.
I would agree. He does have a much better mid-game play style. Stefanovich obviously is really good at the early parts of the game. He knows the Forge Fast Expand really well, which is, I would think, an essential part of any TOS player's tool belt. But especially this game, what we're seeing is that beyond that stage, if he doesn't have it, just a little bit of that stress to kind of fray the strategy. And I'm not going to rag on him too bad for the Ninja Expand. I mean, Whirlwind, if you were going to do a Ninja Expand on any map, this was probably the map to do it. As we saw, it got him quite a ways.
Yeah.
But in the end, as you put it, that solid gameplay, I see Utica going a long ways if he keeps this up.
Yeah, we'll be interested to see if he moves up in the the brackets here, because remember, every season of the MSL, people can move around. So see if he gets to move up to the Code S at some point. He starts playing Platinum or something like that. So yeah, once again, really good set of games. We're glad to have watched them. It was really exciting to commentate. It's quite entertaining.
Oh, yeah.
And we'll be excited to see how things go. And just keep in mind that Stefanovich, while knocked down to the losers bracket, could win the losers bracket and come back for a grand finals. And even though he lost this game fairly, I would say this game was actually relatively one-sided. I would say it was actually because of the scout that was performed, and not necessarily because of any play differences. It was the fact that they were Unica was very prepared for the 4-gate, and then it failed time after time. And so this game definitely went in his favor, but I think it was largely in effect that, as it was able to get him into that later stage of game that he seems to do much better in.
Truth. No, I'm really excited to see Stefanovich in the losers bracket, because losing 1-3 is kind of a poor way of looking at it, because we definitely saw a lot of talent on both sides. I want to see either of them play.
It's true.
Again.
So thanks again, everyone, for watching. Thank you very much, Nibbling, for commentating with me. Really enjoyed it. And if everyone, just make sure to share it with your friends. I'm getting close to 500 views, which means I'm way less than 10 views per video. So go ahead, share things, show off. Hopefully we weren't too embarrassing. Hopefully the welding SCVs and the bandsaw in the background didn't really bother anyone too much. So anyway, we're going to be back sometime soon for hopefully the grand finals of each one of these leagues, and then Season 2. So thank you very much, everyone. Enjoy your night, and we're going to see you all later.